Is that straw clean, puppy? I don't look at it. Is. You sure? Look at on the top, baby. Oh, okay. Happy Sunday. Mi gente, where are you guys? I just came on. Do you know where my chapstick is? Did I leave it in the car? Like forever. Hi, Janet. I know my girl was gonna be the first one to come on. I did have a good week. I had a very interesting week. How was your week, Janet? I know. I love the support, Janet, always. It doesn't go unnoticed, Janet. It never goes unnoticed. It was good. I'm glad. It was a very, for me, as far as just like work, it was a very like stressful week, and I'll go over that in just a minute. Hi Phil. My Mother's Day was great. How was your wife? What did you do for your wife for Mother's Day? Vic, well, the kids made me breakfast in bed, and then we went over to my in-laws, and Vic threw down in the kitchen. He made us some steak and all that, so it was really, really, really good. Janet, how was your Mother's Day? Hi, Mark. Hi, Sally. I'm good, Sally. How are you? I can't believe we're in the middle of May already. It's crazy. Oh, you sent her to Florida? Janet, what you did? Sally, I'm not sure if you're a mother, but if you are, happy Mother's Day. How was your Mother's Day? Yeah, our school year is almost over. It ends on the 29th. So 2 more weeks basically. But let me tell you, the way this mama is, the kids are going, they end school on a Thursday. That Monday, the kids are in summer camp. Phil said to be with my daughter who works in Florida and Disney. I love that. I used to work for Disney. I was with Disney for 5 years. I was a secretary. Sally said I have 5 kids with 17-year-old triplets. It was, yes, that's right. You're right. I don't know why I confused you with someone else. Yes, I know you have the triplets. Happy Mother's Day. Hi, Cosette. Janet said we stayed in. Honey made a nice breakfast and dinner. Ooh, fancy. Listen, I'm the type cook for me, right? Like I don't want to go to a restaurant. I'd rather just chill at home. Janet said, "Oh, nice. New York City ends on 6/26. Listen, we're almost like, oh my gosh. And my kids end June 21st. Ah, okay. So yeah, us is May 29th. Phil said his daughter's in an intern program. I love that. So she's with the Disney college program. That's what it sounds like. John said, what 55 and over communities would you recommend? John, what area are you thinking? Yeah, Janet, I don't like restaurants on those days either. It's too busy. Way too busy. I'm like, no, thank you. Just cook for me. And I'm out all the time. Like, I really enjoy just being home. Oh, Cosette, June 3rd in Broward. Wow, Phil, she's gonna love it. Disney is a really great place. It especially has really good benefits, right? I used to take the kids all the time to Disney, and since we had 6 kids, right? All of the kids I had my pass for all of them, but then we would get comp tickets. So I would give my comp tickets to like other foster parents so that they could bring their children to Disney. But all the foster kids we had, we brought them to Disney because we wanted to at least give them that experience. Sally said the trios would be seniors and graduate next year. Oh my gosh. I'm not ready. My oldest is about to be 15, and I'm like, where is the time going? John said Central Florida. Okay, so Central Florida, I mean, there's quite a few 55 and over communities. I mean, Del Webb manages and creates a really mean 55 and over community. I really like their communities. I love their floor plans. So I always say this, St. Cloud, Twin Lakes is one of my favorite 55 and over communities. There's one not so wait, let me check. Hold on. That one, K Hovnanian has a 55 and over in Kissimmee. Wow, there's such a few of them. If you're thinking Ocala, Ocala has Ocala Preserve, which Shea Holmes is in there. Del Webb, Stone Creek. Of course, you have On Top of the World. There's just so many, but I really do like Twin Lakes has to be one of my favorite communities. And then we should have found a nice farmhouse in Ocala. Yes, Sally, yes. But how was everyone's week? So mine it's been okay. So my week has been very emotionally draining and taxing. Okay. So one of my clients, they had to jump through so many freaking hoops to get approved, final approval for a house in Ocala, right? But he had to sell his house in order to buy his new house, right? And so we're almost at the end of the line. We're almost there. But something came up on the buyer side for the sale of my client's house. And oh my gosh, it's been, and then the agent is really, really new. And the lender doesn't communicate, and the lender doesn't answer emails. And oh my gosh, it's just been just so draining. And it's like my hands are tied. Like there's not much that I can do but try to be like, okay, come up with different options and be like, I had to call finally the lender answered, and they're waiting on one specific document. And I'm like, well, according to the buyer's agent, that they can't obtain that document. How about this, and that? Then the lender is like, oh, well, I didn't think of that. Let me go ask the underwriter. Well, hello, that's why you should be answering my calls so that we can collaborate, we can partner together. Even though I'm not the buyer's agent, I'm the listing agent, but it's my goal, is my job to get this house sold, right? So let's work together. Let's come up with different options to see which one will work. And then after that, I'm like, okay, did you go back to the underwriter? What did the underwriter say? Can we do this instead of that? And I haven't heard anything back. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And there's just so many moving pieces. And it's just been very, 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 very stressful. And then I've been working with a buyer for quite some time now. And she's very like, we're supposed to meet up and she'll cancel. Something comes up. Okay. Then she'll be like, hey, can we do this on, for example, this Thursday or Friday? And I'm like, I'm completely booked on Thursday and Friday. I was like, but if it's not me, then I can have one of my partner agents. So we followed up with her, and she's like, you know what? I think I need an agent that lives in Ocala. I'm like, okay, hold on. Just because I don't live in Ocala doesn't mean that I don't know it in the back of my hand. I'm there all of the time. I helped 60 families last year, and most of them are in Ocala. Okay, so it's not that I don't know Ocala or anything like that. So what happens is, and this is what I've been noticing, is that when people are confused and they don't really know what they want, it ends up being like, okay, well, maybe I need a new agent, right? Or you're not doing good enough for me, or whatever have you. And if you're looking for the agent that's gonna drop everything and be like, okay, I'll show you this house tomorrow, even though I have 5 other appointments, it's just not me. That, like, that's not me. However, I can have one of my other agents show you that, right? So, you know what? I was just like, it is what it is at this point. At this point, I'm at a point in my career where I know my worth, I know my value, and I'm not going to sit here and convince you otherwise. I'm just not. All right. Norma said, ¿por qué no has, oh my God, look, you hear that Spanish, guys? ¿Por qué no has presentado más casas in Calesa Township? Well, Norma, I've already toured 5 out of their 6 model floor plans. So a lot of the times is like, if the house is not 100% complete, I can't tour it, right? So the model homes is the ones that I could tour. And then the reason why I didn't do the 6th one, which is their smallest floor plan, which is the current, I can't do it because that's where their office is. So you can't have a good idea. So that's why. But we've done 5 out of the 6 models that they have. They have 15 different models, but you have to remember they don't build all of them at the same time. Some of them are where a buyer is selecting the lot, and it's not for sale essentially, right? And then sometimes the quick move-in ones are not 100% completed, so I can't tour it. Thank you, Janet. Yeah. You know, I'm just at that. Like I said, I'm not a new agent. I've been doing this for over 5 years, and I don't have to live in a certain city to be able to know to get the best deal, to know the area. That's just that it doesn't make any sense. Al said, what is the average time it takes a house to sell in Central Florida? 9-10 months. It seems that the market is dead. So Al, is going to depend on multiple different options, right? It's going to depend on multiple different factors. So what happens is that it's going to depend on the community. It's going to depend on the house, right? It's going to depend on the price. So for example, I just listed a house for one of my investors that he purchased it back in 2022. Sorry guys, I'm cooking, and so he purchased it in 2022, and he's ready to sell it. And so we priced it where it should be, shows really really beautiful, and we already had like maybe 6 showings, right? And so we should be receiving an offer soon. So it's going to depend on a lot of different factors. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on. So Katrina taught me how to make some really good moist chicken breast. So you pan sear it right on each side for about 5 to 6 minutes, and then you put it in the oven for about 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. And when I tell you, it's the best moist chicken ever. Ever. Okay. Phil, yes, it is a domino effect, right? And then what happens is that it's when you do a simultaneous close, or simultaneous close, when you have to sell a house to buy a house, it could get super stressful, right? Because if something goes wrong on the buy side, it could affect everything. Okay, so hold on. I'm drinking my protein drink, which I shouldn't because I'm going to eat soon. Okay. JP asked if I could go over an ASIS contract. Okay. So an ASIS contract is different from a builder's agreement, like a builder's contract. Okay. So in Florida, we mostly use an as-is contract. So if we're purchasing a resale home, if we're purchasing a new construction, like in Ocala, where you have the smaller builders, we're using an as-is contract. So with an as-is contract, technically, right, the seller can sell the house as is. As is meaning in whatever state it is in, right? Whether it has the original roof and things like that. But at the end of the day, right, if you really want to sell the house, number one, the buyer is going to get an inspection, right? So when the buyer gets in the inspection, and they come back with the inspection report, right? The buyer's agent talks to the buyer and they're like, okay, what do we want the seller to address? Okay. Now, I personally always remind my clients, especially, well, we're in a buyer's market, but cosmetic things, a lot of sellers are not going to do, right? It's a resale home. A lot of sellers are not going to address cosmetic stuff. But like the big things, like the roof, the AC, the water heater, the plumbing, right? If there's a leak somewhere, things like that, oh yeah, absolutely. So technically, because it's an as-is contract, the seller doesn't have to fix anything, right? But if you're within your inspection period and we're asking for the seller to address these things, and the seller comes back with, no, this is an as-is contract, well, okay, then we're going to go ahead, cancel the contract. My clients are going to get their deposit back, and then we're going to keep it pushing. So that doesn't happen more. It doesn't really happen like that, right? So what happens is that, okay, we negotiate with the seller. Either the seller is going to give you a concession, a credit, like, okay, what can I think? Okay, the AC is old. I'll give you a credit of $10,000, right? You could do that. Or the seller could replace the AC while you guys are under contract, right? So there's different things. So that's more of the as-is contract. So with the as-is contract, we have so a lot of important things. Of course, your purchase price. Within 3 days, 3 business days, your earnest money deposit is due. So a good faith deposit, usually between 1 to 2% of the purchase price. We have what financing you're doing, or if you are paying the house in cash. You have your inspection period, which is very, very, very important. You and then that's where your closing date and all of that other stuff. So an as is basically, it's different from the builder's contract. Hi, James. Yeah, Janet. Listen, today it really was my goal to really just like relax and just, wind down. But I was getting ready for the week, and then a whole bunch of other things came up. So one of my clients, um, I had to really get like, I didn't know. They didn't keep me updated. The builder's agent didn't let me know about our walkthrough, right? So we were under the impression that our that the house wasn't going to be completed until the towards the end of June, right? So we hadn't even like reached out about inspection yet, because you can't get the house inspected until it's 100% completed. Okay, so my client tells me, oh, he's coming into town and all this other stuff. So he wants to go see the house. So me thinking, I'm like, okay, we're here for, we're just gonna go see the house, right? But then I see the construction manager walking up, and I'm like, wait a minute, this looks like a first walkthrough. So I asked the construction manager, I was like, is this the first walkthrough? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, hold up. I was like, this is not how it should work. I said, I was never advised. No one looped me into the communication. We were told that this house wasn't going to be completed until June. Last week was still the beginning of May, right? So I'm so glad that everything worked out in the sense of me being available, right? Because I thought it was just literally, we're gonna go check the house out, because he went under contract virtually, right? Like he only seen the house virtually, but I thought he was in town to go see the house. So it just worked out, right? I'm so glad I was there, and he had so much appreciation, right? Because he was like, I would have missed 80% of, what you pointed out. And I was like, well, I've been doing this for a really long time, and I've sold many, many houses. But I even sent an email to the builder sales agent, just expressing my frustration and how lack of communication, and we didn't even get to have a third party inspection company inspect the house before we close, right? And so we're getting it all figured out. They're gonna be able to get inspection done prior to closing because of the lack of communication on their end, right? Also, what I wanted to tell you, and I'm actually going to make a video out of this, because this is why I always say it's super important to get a third party inspection company. So one of my clients are under contract for a $700,000 house. And mind you, I don't care if it was a $200,000 house, but I'm just saying a $700,000 house. They got the inspection done, and it just so happens to be that there's a leak in the garage in the ceiling. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine? I wouldn't have known if I'm walking up there if there's no visible water stain, right? But when what happens is the inspection the inspectors, they have like this thermal gun, and they point it at the wall. So then if it turns like a different color, that means that there's moisture. Oh my gosh. I'm like, you know what? I said this is exactly why I always recommend a third party inspection. Always, 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 always. And and right away when we got the inspection done, I sent it over to the builders, the construction manager, and I'm like, this needs to get done ASAP. Like, we need to make sure that there is no aftermath effects of, you know, the surrounding drywall being wet and things like that. Listen, I'm telling you. Sorry guys, hold on. Babe, I think 2 more minutes. If you could put this in the oven.
Okay. There you go.
Oh. Oh, I like that. Thank you, baby. All right. Let me read this. Josh said, "Hey Alexis, is it okay to go to open houses to get ideas for a house and get info on houses?" Absolutely. It's okay to like walk through open houses, right? But you got to be careful though, right? So what happens is that the agents are gonna have you sign in, right? And so normally they should have like a check mark. Hey, do you have an agent? Yes or no? Because if you press no, if you click no, circle no, they're going to basically put you in their database and try to, you know, get you as a client. I actually just had a buyer call me today. Yeah, I'm good. A buyer, can you let Danny know that I put Monarch School of Real Estate up? I just had a buyer call me today, and she's like, "Hey, I've been watching you for quite some time, and I'm actually at Colessa Township now." And my heart dropped. I was like, "Oh my gosh," because Colessa Township, when I tell you, they give me such a freaking problem. So one of the agents there, she was what it sounded like, and I wasn't a part of the conversation, so this is he say she say stuff, right? But it was kind of like, okay, you can do this without your realtor, because she was like, oh no, my realtor is Alexis, and she was like, you don't have to have a realtor, basically, right? But the buyer was like, no, Alexis is my real estate agent. So then the sales agent was like, well, so then I feel like it all changes now, right? So the builder's agent was like, well, then you have to make an appointment with, you know, Alexis has to register you, and then you have to make an appointment. So I called, I text her all the information, and then I'm like, hey, do you have any openings today? My client, you know, well, now is my client, because she, you know, she decided that she wanted to work with me. She's already there in Ocala, in Colessa Township, right? So luckily we were able to, she was able to tour the community. But guys, especially Colessa Township, please don't go without me. Please don't go without me. Do not call for information. Don't. Because the minute you call for information is the minute that they grab your information and they see that I didn't register you, and it's a whole ordeal. So please don't do it. If you want me to represent you, please, 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 please let me know before even calling Colessa Township. Also, I actually just had a meeting on Monday. So I got smacked on my hand basically by my brokerage. So now it is a rule for me here at the Evolve Estates Group that once you call me, right, once we have like a buyer consultation, we're speaking, If you want to work with me, you have to sign our buyer broker agreement within 24 hours of us speaking, right? There's no me sending you homes. There's nothing else. You have to sign that buyer broker agreement, and then we can move on. I can represent you. I can send you my resources because I could get my license taken away. I can not get paid. And I'm sorry, it ain't worth it. I got 6 kids to feed, and it's just that's just the way it is. So the one, you guys already know me. Everybody, you know how I work, how I. So if you're talking to other different realtors, let me be the last one then, because if it's not signed within 24 hours, we are not working together. Um, Babe, Phil said you're the man. Okay, hold on. Laureen said thanks for all the information. You're welcome, Laureen. Colombia. How come Ocala real estate is getting cheaper? I don't necessarily think it's getting cheaper. Huh? Some prices are going down, right? It's just gonna depend on what the price what did they list the price at, right? I have seen some price reduction, right? But this is definitely, we're in a buyer's market. I've said that for quite some time. But I could tell you, I just found out that Richmond American Homes is actually going to be open up a community in Ocala. I don't know exactly where just yet, but it's going to have a resort style pool. It's going to have a fitness center. It's going to have pickleballs, playground, and things like that. So I'm super excited. You guys know that I really like their floor plans. So once I get more information, I will let you know where Richmond Americans community is going to be in Ocala. So that's when you know, and I've been saying this for a really long time. That's when you know where uh, a city is growing, right? Because of the bigger builders coming in. Pulte Homes wasn't there before. Who else? Pulte Homes, no. Taylor Morrison is coming. Richmond American is coming. I'm telling you. Who else? Who else? Casa Fresca. So this is like, I'm telling you, Ocala is still growing. Ocala is still growing. So one thing I want you guys to look into, right? Whoever's thinking about investing. So I have clients who reached out to me. They live in like the Boca Raton. I was actually with them last week, and we're under contract for 2 properties. And he has houses in his area, and he rents them out to Section 8. So he does like the vouchers and things like that. And so that's what he's gonna be doing in Ocala as well. So the Section 8 vouchers. So that's definitely, another realm of investing. Josh said, is there a way to keep in contact with you so my wife and I can get help on trying to find a home and out in the Orlando area? Because we do have an agent, but we're looking to get other opinions on help. So Josh, out of curiosity, if you have an agent already, like what additional help do you need? Because and this is not to put the eyes on you, Josh, but I had a conversation with someone this week, right? And they were like, well, I'm not gonna sign with anyone because I want to see who's gonna get me the best deal. All right, I'm not your girl. I'm not your girl. And the reason why I'm not your girl is because I only want to work with people who are ready to work with me, who want to work with me, okay? There's no competing against anybody else. They're not my competition. Listen, I'm in my own lane, right? And so I'm just not for you. And I told her that. I was like, listen, that's not how I work. You can go with the other agents and see how that works. I've been told that there's agents who are showing properties without the buyer broker agreement. I was like, not me. Not me, because you can get your license taken away. You can get fined thousands and thousands of dollars. No, thank you. So out of curiosity, Josh, is what makes you want to look and talk to other agents if you already have your agent? Mark said the house this week was nice. It was nice, right, Mark? It was different. I really, really liked it. Babe, can you put on the oven? Thank you. It was nice. I really liked the 3-car garage. So let me tell you guys, this week, tomorrow actually, we did another Ocala home. The builder is LGI Homes. It's a brand new floor plan in Ocala. It's called Ponte Vedra. You have to hear me in the video. I'm like, Ponte Vedra. I got like so confused. It's Ponte Vedra. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, over 2,300 square feet, 3-car garage. And when I tell you the living room is one of the biggest living rooms that I have seen. So I'm super excited about that. So they have one that's on half of an acre for under $400,000. So I'm super excited to show you Ponte Vedra. But it keeps like I keep wanting to say, like, you know how like salsa verde, like that. So I messed up a few times, but yes, it's Ponte Vedra. So actually, Cosette is buying one of the Ponte Vedras. She loved it. She absolutely like fell in love with it. Oh my gosh, you're gonna make my eyelashes come out. Okay, hold on. Okay, Marlene said, hi, Alexis. What do you think of Fort Myers for short-term rental versus Poinciana? So Fort Myers, I have no idea. That's not my market. I did see your email. I would have to send you to someone in Fort Myers. That's just not my market. I have no idea, right? I would be doing a disservice to you, right? So this is where this is kind of like something where if I service it, then that's a completely different story. But if I feel like I'm going to be doing a disservice to my clients, I always tell them that, like, hey, I may not be the one for you because I would be doing a disservice because I don't know the area, right? And so Fort Myers is completely outside of my realm. Hey, Whip. You know, I haven't met you, Whit. So Whit actually works for Kalesa Township. I was just talking about you guys. So Whit works for Kalesa Township, and I've actually heard his name through a few different people, buyers that I have spoken with, right? And so funny. Thank you, Whit, for being on my live. Hey, Ray. Stephen Durham said, hey, Alexis, my wife and I will be in Ocala Tuesday to Saturday this week looking at properties. Let me know if you have any listings we should look at under $400,000. See, so that's the thing, Stephen. And again, I'm not, this is not to, you know, to put you on the stand or anything like that, right? I only work with people who I am their real estate agent. So I'm never the one, like, I'm not a door opener. I'm not a person who's just going to send you homes, right? We have to have a conversation, a deep conversation, so that I can truly understand what you are looking for. And if you want to have me as your real estate agent, and if I feel like that I'm aligned with your goals, right? And again, it's not to, this has just been such a thing, especially this past couple of weeks, months is turning into that I personally only provide my resources, my services to people who have a buyer broker agreement with me and who want to work with me. I don't want to just be like, hey, I'm doing you a disservice putting, hey, here's a list of homes. It just doesn't work for me like that. I'm sorry, guys. And you know what? And I hate to beat the horse, right? But I'm at a point in my career where I'm not here to convince anybody to work with me, right? Like, you guys, you can see my reviews, you can see who I am through my videos, right? I've been doing YouTube for over 2.5 years now. So is what you see is what you get. I always say this, at the end of the day, all of the realtors on YouTube, especially in like the Central Florida area, including Ocala, we all have access to the same houses, all of us. So it ends up being who you want to work with. I'm just not willing to work with someone who's not committed to working with me. Marlene said we might take a trip in 2 weeks to Florida. Do you think we can go around a few different places to feel the vibe after we get approved? Absolutely, Marlene. Cosette, yeah, the Colon Charter School in Kalesa Township. What about it? Did I miss something? Okay. What do you think of Waterway Estates? If a buyer wants larger lots for under 500,000, I actually like Waterway Estates. I have a lot of clients who have purchased in Waterway Estates. I've seen like where minimum is around that like half an acre, but I've seen close to an acre. I've seen over an acre, right? I really do like Waterway Estates. Waterway Estates is closest to like Liberty Village, your to Highway 200. A lot of the builders that build in like Waterway Estates is Adams Homes, Holiday Builders, and quite some other like quite some smaller builders. Yeah, Waterway is beautiful. I really do like Waterway. I've had clients who have purchased in Waterway. James said, "How big of an area does your buyer's agreement cover?" So, James, that's a great question. So, my agreement is going to cover what you're looking at in the sense of as long as I cover the areas. So, I cover from Ocala down to Tampa and pretty much everywhere in between, right? Once we start getting to the coast, that's just not my area, right? I have a lot of people asking me about Port St. Lucie. It's not my area. It's not my area of expertise. Now, if someone is truly like, nah, Alexis, like I want you to help me and things like that, then we can have a different discussion, right? At the end of the day, is negotiating as far as getting you the best deal. That's the easy part, right? Um. Oh, Cosette said no for those with children interested in Kalesa. Yeah, the charter school, absolutely. Yes, I will send you a lender's contact information, Marlene. Phil said if someone signs a contract with you, how long is the duration of the contract? So that's going to depend, right? So if, let's say, if someone's like, you know what, I want to start working with you, I want to start the process now, but I feel like I'm 6 to 8 months out, right? I might make the contract a year. It depends on when my buyers are looking to make the move. Okay, so but I always say, right, at the end of the day, number one, the buyer's broker agreement doesn't mean that you have to buy a house. If something changes, then it's okay, right? That's okay. We have a conversation and we just cancel, right? If like you decide you're not gonna buy, or timelines change and things like that. If you're not satisfied with my services, right, we'll have a conversation. And again, I always think it's important to have conversations. Okay, we're all adults. I feel like a lot of people have expectations, but they don't express those expectations because everybody's expectations are different, right? And so if I don't know your expectations and I'm not meeting your expectations, it's because I don't know what they are, you know. And if we just feel like we're not aligned, then that's okay. We'll have a conversation. There's nothing to can't. There's no like penalty fee or anything. But it is and I tell everybody this: if I've showed you like a community and you know about that community because of me, even if we cancel our contract and you decide to go with that builder, I'm still gonna be a realtor, right? Yes, with communication is key, guys. Communication is key. Why can't we just have a great conversation? Like, hey, this is my expectations. This is how I feel that my real estate agent should do, or something like that. And then if I feel like I'm aligned with those expectations, or I'd be like, hey, this is the way I work, and if we align together, then that's perfect. And if we don't, then that's okay as well, right? I just think communication is key in every relationship, because at the end of the day, this is a partnership. This is a relationship, right? And I feel like I'm really beating the freaking horse with this, but it's happening way too much. It's happening way too many times. This buyer broker agreement is extremely important. It really is. Like I said, I was doing it where, listen, you don't have to sign it until we're right about to go see a house. Nope. My brokerage smacked me on the hand. I just literally had an appointment, a meeting with them this Monday because of it. And they were like, no, as soon as you start have the consultation and you're providing services, you are providing your resources, you need a signed buyer broker agreement. And I'm sorry, no one's worth me getting my license taken away, because at the end of the day, are you guys going to be supporting me and my children if I get my license taken away? No. And like I said, I'm not here to convince anybody to work with me. Hi, Gilbert. Listen, see, Gilbert is one of my clients where we haven't even met yet, but we've talked so much over the phone. It's so, I love Gilbert. Yes, the builder will still pay you. Exactly. Because if I'm the procuring cause of why you went to that community, then I should still get paid. And I would still represent you. Whit said, Alexis, I would love to co-host with you on live and talk about Kalesa and Ocala. Who would like to learn more about Kalesa Township? Who would like to be able to speak with a builder's agent at Kalesa Township so that he can let you know what's going on in the community, some upcoming things? I think that's a great idea, Whit. Laureen said, buyer broker agreement, 100%. Absolutely. Like, you cannot convince me otherwise. You just can't. You can't. No, I've been drinking. It's good? Did you do coconut milk? Yeah. You need salt? I need to stop drinking this because I need to eat soon. It's already 6:13. I'm sorry that it's just super important. It's just super important. People are, I don't know if they're scared to commit. I'm not sure. But listen, I've said it from the very beginning. What you see is what you get with me. At the end of the day, I'm going to rock with you, right? And I always say, like, when I say that I got you in my videos, look no further because I got you type of thing, it's because I do. And I always say this. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be peaches and cream and rainbows and unicorns, right? Stuff happens. Like, you see one of my clients that we're selling his house and the freaking buyer's agent is brand new. And I'm like steering the ship. I'm holding the ship because I'm trying to make this work, right? And it's just like there's stuff that's out of my control. Like, it's just not in my control. Like, I can't get the document that's needed for the buyer. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I got you in the sense that I'm going to do my very, very best to get us to the end, to get us to the table, the closing table, so that you can purchase your brand new house, right? And sometimes I have to remind my clients of why we started this in the first place, right? Like, what their goal was. And again, there's some stuff that happens and it's just like, what the heck? Like, I did not see that coming. For example, I had one of my clients, I'm telling you, this week was just a crazy week. One of my clients are moving from New York to St. Cloud. And before we went under contract, we were told that they didn't need to sell their house in order to qualify for this house. Now, all of a sudden, it's coming up that they need to sell their house before they buy this house. And I'm like, wait a minute. Because number one, if you live in New York, you know that it takes months to close on a property, okay? It's not like a quick closing like it is here, okay? That changes the whole ball game. It changes timelines and all of that. So I got everybody and their mother on the phone to explain to me what changed, right? And so I was on the phone for freaking hours trying to figure this out. And it ended up being, we got a manager involved. And it ended up being that wasn't the case, that they didn't need to sell in order to buy. You know what I mean? And so that's just one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, am I the loan officer? No. You know what I mean? Like, those are things that are not in my control that come up. Okay. One of my other clients, right? Oh, you have to sell this house to buy this house. Okay, we didn't. What other options do we have? You're gonna have to give us better communication so that we know what other options that we have. Instead of selling it, can we rent it, right? Like, give us a clear picture of all of our options, type of thing. It's been a week, guys. It really, really, really has been a week. And we have close to, between listings and under contract, we're pushing almost 20, right? So when you do so many like transactions, there's stuff that comes up. Like, you have so many more stories, so many more experiences, right? Other than an agent who's only closing a deal a month, they're not going to have that much turmoil, you know what I'm saying? Or like examples of what to look forward to in the next transaction, you know what I mean? Whit said, Alexis, tell your cameraman I got to get some new shades. Yeah, I would love, I think that would be a great idea to go ahead and have you on my live so that people could know about Colessa Township. Like, I do like Colessa Township. I like their floor plans. I like their, I like the community. I really, really do. So yeah, I think that would be a great option. Cosette said, no need to be sorry, dear. Cosette, I just need a lot more clients like you. Like, you guys already, like, there was no if, ands, or buts. Like, they were like, nope, you're my girl. Where do I sign? Give me the pen and I'll sign, type of thing, right? Janice said, don't be sorry. Marlene said, is Colessa a new community in Ocala? Is it a gated community? So Colessa Township, so the new phase that they're building, it is not gated. So that probably Whit can tell you if they have some like move-in ready homes in the gated community portion of it, but they started a new phase, which is not going to be gated. And it's been around, I want to say, has it been 5 years? Whit, hi, Morgan. So if you're watching me and you are thinking about purchasing a house in Florida, I would love to have a conversation. But if you are not ready to truly have me as your real estate agent and not willing to sign a buyer broker agreement, it's just, I'm not your girl. Okay, Whit said I have 20 move-in ready homes in the gated community, and it's been around for 4 years. So 20 move-in ready. So there's no more in the gated portion of it. There's no more lots where you can be like, okay, well, I want to put this floor plan on this lot, not in the gated community portion of it. It's in the new phase, which is called, tell me again, what is called? That's where you can do pick the lot, pick the floor plan, and stuff like that. Catalina's over here. Come on, because she's looking. Everybody say hi to Kit Kat.
Where's my hat?
Okay, come. The boys are feeling themselves. They got haircuts. Hey, guys, can you please tell Caleb how beautiful his curls are? Please tell him. Please tell him, because he's the only one who has these tight curls. See, look. Hi, Kit Kat. See? Look. Come on, Caleb. I put some deep conditioner in his hair, but look, he has the tight curls, and he wants to like cut it all off, and I'm just like, I wish I had curls like this. Look at this. It's just tight curls, and it smells so good because we put like a deep conditioning. Look, everybody said hi. See, leave the curls. Nice hair. You see what I mean? Price. So what is the price point in the new Perlino Grove? So Perlino Grove is what's the new phase is called in Colessa Township. See, Cosette said people pay to get your curls. I'm telling you.
Wait, what?
People they I love your curls, Bob.
My curls are better.
Come.
Eli got curls too, but Eli's curls are not like Caleb.
Yeah, so
I got 6 kids, so they each have like their own hair. Oh, do we want to tell our YouTube fam what we went through with you, girlfriend? We almost had to cut all of Kit Kat's hair because she had a nest right here. I was just like, girl, like literally the hair was intertwined, and I'm just like, we tried as best as we could, and we had to cut a portion of it. Oh my gosh. When are you going to do a family video? It's been a while. I know, Ray. I know. We have to get back to it. Now that the summertime is coming up, I think that it's going to be doable. It's really hard because they are in school full time, and then they have extracurricular activities. And then sometimes if I'm showing on Saturdays and then Sundays, I'm just so tired, right? So I'm going to tell you guys, and I brought it up before, right? I really am thinking about growing a big team because I just personally can't do all the showings, right? Like, especially just with the massive amount of people that we're getting, which I'm super grateful for, right? But I am thinking of growing a bigger team so that they are the ones who are like boots on the grounds, right? I'll still have my hands in it, of course, right? You'll still have access to me. I'm still going to be the one who's doing the negotiating and making sure that you guys have the best deal possible, right? But as far as like the showing and things like that, I'm really thinking about growing a team so that they are able to show the houses, because it's getting to the point where it's just like, okay, like I'm only one person type of thing. So I'm thinking about that. I think to kind of, because I know I have a lot of people who are like, well, I want to work with you, right? And you are working with me, but this is why I have like my admin team, like Katrina and Camilla, right? And I don't answer my phones because there's just no way. There's no way. And I always want to have somebody at least pick up the phone, because it's just impossible for me to pick up all the phone calls type of thing. And I really think that I'm gonna build a bigger team, but I want them to also be on the channel, right? Because so that you guys can get to know them. Because I'm not gonna put you in the wrong hands either, right? So that's something to think about. What do you guys think about that? I know there's a lot of hesitation, and there's a hesitation on my end too, right? Because it's always about well, no one's going to do it like me, right? But then I can't grow. I'm not going to be able to grow because I also have to let the agents grow and be able to lead them, right? But like I said, that doesn't mean that I'm not a part of the transaction. Doesn't mean that I'm not negotiating on your behalf, right? I feel like my time is better spent on negotiating and marketing. Cosette said evolving, that's the brand, the butterfly. So the best use of my time is not showing you the houses, right? It's actually negotiating and marketing and being able to get you these houses. Ray said, me and my wife will request to see a house with you only. Sorry. Cosette equals Team Ocala. I love that. Yes. Janice said, well, when I'm ready, you have to be the one showing me. I felt that. When you have a team, you train them so they would do it like you because you've trained them just to be like you. Hustle. Exactly. But then, of course, I know that I have the people who are like, nope, it's you or nothing type of thing, right? Life with Lil, yeah, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hey, Alexis, I've been watching a lot of your videos and love how you showcase and talk about each unique house and all of the info needed for potential buyers. I'm currently getting my real estate. Oh my gosh, I love that for you and would love to join your team. Yeah, definitely get in my calendar, and we can definitely have a discussion, right, to see how that looks, because we have to make sure that we're aligned with each other. But I love that. I think it's just super important. I love that I'm able to, there's a lot of people that are inspired by me who want to do what I'm doing, and I absolutely love that. Like I love what I do. I love to provide as much value as I can to all of my clients. Janet said that is true, but I will just work with you. I hear that, Janet. I hear that. One day we'll be ready. Okay, Janet and who said that? Janet and Ray. Just out of curiosity, and again, this is a conversation, right? This is a conversation. This is an open conversation. I'm just trying to get just your perspective, right? Okay. So what is it about that you just, it's only me, right? Like me having to show you the houses. I'm just curious. I'm not questioning you in the sense of, well, I got to show you the house. I'm not doing that. I'm just curious under your perspective is what is it that you only want to work with me? Laureen said, when we're ready, we need you to show us the houses, then you can turn over to team, but we need to meet you. Okay. Janice said, because I already see how you are. Okay, I respect that. JP said, does the market slow down in the summer? Not necessarily. It just depends, right? Because normally this time, right, is where a lot of the houses come on the market, and the reason being is because a lot of people want to get their house and move before the kids are starting school, right? So it gets quiet around like September, October, the holidays. It gets a little bit more quiet. Josh said, me and my wife have a decent down payment ready, about $50,000. I want to leave New York City and go to Florida. What are some steps I should take? That's a great question. That's actually a really good amount to have saved, right? So great job at that. So some steps you have to take is that number one, you have to see. So if you're going to finance, right? What is your job situation going to be here? Do you work remotely? Because if you work remotely and you're able to move to Florida, then that's perfect. But if you have to transfer, right, or you need a new job, that's where it gets a little bit messy and tricky, right? Because you have to have a job here. Then you want to know what area that you're looking at, right? Like, is it Central Florida? Is it Davenport? Is it Ocala, right? And then the type of house you want, of course. But the main thing too is that the steps that you need to take is you need to figure out, okay, what does my financing look like? Well, you're not going to get approved for a primary home if you are still working physically in New York City. Janice said, you are real and keep it real. I felt that. Laureen said, your intelligence, your personality. Marlene said, you have this good vibe, positivity. JP said, I would love you to negotiate with the tough seller's agent. Absolutely. Josh said, sorry, just joined. Might be talking about something you guys aren't. No, that's a great thing. Marlene said, and you truly listen to your clients. Ray said, you're down to earth personality and no BS. But listen to me, guys. Listen to me, okay? I'm playing devil's advocate right now, okay? So you can meet me, right? You can meet me, and I would still be your real estate agent, right? I would still negotiate on your behalf and all this other stuff. I just won't be showing you every single house. Tell me about that. Okay, Josh said definitely definitely Central Florida, closer to Orlando. So you got to tell me about the Janice said nope. I love that. So Central Florida, closer to Orlando, there's so many areas, right? So if you want to be closer to Orlando, it depends on what your budget is too, okay? Because the closer you get to Orlando, the higher the prices are, right? You have your Winter Garden, your Claremont, you have Apopka, but then you have like the lower, like not as high in price with Davenport, Haines City, Lake Alfred, things like that, okay? Concession, she got you. You guys are making me laugh so much. James said it's like going to a specialist doctor and they dump you on a new doctor when you really wanted to see the best. Nobody likes working with the second best. That's so funny. Gilbert said it's the connection with you. It becomes a one-on-one relationship. It's all about the connection with your personality, only with you. Janice said, nope, not going to work for me. Dan said, I'd be cool with seeing other houses with your team. Phil said, if you have a large clientele and it's impossible for you to be at every showing with Andy, the client has to understand it's going to be times where they have to be handed off to her. Ray said, no. My wife and I said no. So it kind of looks like it's split, right? So there are people where they're like, listen, I don't care. As long as I know that you're overseeing everything, I know you got me, right? So I can go see a house with an agent. Then there's my ride or dies where they're like, absolutely not. It's only you, right? So I think I'm going to have that. I think I'm going to have like a questionnaire. Are you okay with seeing houses with with the person on my team, right? Oh my gosh, I love you guys. It's a split. And that's okay. This is an open conversation, right? This is why we're having this. I want to get your perspective. I want to, understand what it is. And I know it's like, that's so funny about the specialist where or not even that. You think you're going to see, the doctor, but then you see like the nurse practitioner, right? Or it's just not the same. Janice said, no, I am not. Cosette said, no. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Whit said, hey, thank you for allowing me to join. I'm going to dinner, but we'll leave you playing in the background. This is an awesome live. Ray said no. Okay, any of my people on here who are like, I'm good. I know Dan said he's cool. Like anybody is like, listen, as long as you're a part of the transaction, you don't physically need to show me any homes. I'm curious. This is a great conversation. Okay, so I told you already what's happening tomorrow with LGI Homes. We're gonna start picking up with 2 videos a week soon. And then we're gonna go back into like everything else that Central Florida has to offer, like Haines City and Davenport and all the other cities, because we've been really focused on Ocala for the last couple of weeks. And I know I don't only cover Ocala, right? So I cover all of Central Florida. So we're gonna start incorporating the other videos again, but we're just gonna leave it twice per 2 videos per week. Cassidy's birthday was just passed. She's right here. Everybody say happy birthday. Her birthday was on the 13th, and Kit Kat's birthday is on the 26th. So there's a lot of birthdays in May. What else? James said no. James said no. Phil said yes. Let me see. Hold on. Phil said yes. Cosette said nope. Holding your hand like walking to kindergarten for the first time. I can't with you guys. Ray said, Marlene said I'm okay, but if I go to Florida, we'd love to meet you. Ray said we won. You have more no than yes. Everybody's saying happy birthday to you, baby. Yay, she's smiling so hard right now. So I think what do you guys think about me doing like maybe having potential like when like a form to be submitted in the sense of, are you okay with working somebody on our team? Or would you, or is working with me like a non-negotiable, right? I think that would maybe be like a great question for like a questionnaire type of thing. What do you guys think about that? Because I gotta grow, guys. I gotta grow. But I do realize that there are people who want to work directly with me, right? And of course, I'm gonna do that. Don't get it twisted. Don't think that I'm going anywhere, guys. If you want to work directly with me, we'll make it happen. Katrina's asking for you. Where are you? I know she's been missing. You know what? She's been missing. Well, guys, she's been studying for her real estate exam. Yep, you heard that right. She's going to be a licensed real estate agent soon. So I'm super excited. All right, we're almost done, guys. JP said, okay for showings, but you for negotiations. Okay, absolutely. I love that. So I think that's just a discussion that I'm going to have, right? That's just a new topic to talk about. But I love you guys. If you want to work directly with me, I'm not going to go any, I'm not going to be like, no, right? All right, just a few more minutes. Everybody's saying happy birthday to you, baby. Erlene, I don't know if I'm saying your name the right way. Alexis, I'm currently working and my husband is retired. I can retire at any time. Oh, I love that. I don't have a house to sell. How will it work for me? Yeah, so if you're on a fixed income, so your husband, let's say your husband receives a retirement check and then you're going to retire soon, right? So if your husband, okay, let me break this down. If you're living in another state, right, and you want to move to Florida, if your husband can qualify on his own with his retirement, then that's perfect, right? But if we need your income to get qualified, right, and you currently live where you currently work wherever you work in person, right, then you can we may have to see how that's going to work, because if we need your income, then we have to if you're going to retire, then they could use your retirement offer letter, like what you're going to receive and things like that, because you need to get pre-approved, and it's going to be a primary residence. If your husband can't qualify for his own on his own, then and he needs your income, then that's where it gets tricky if you don't currently work in Florida or you don't work remote. Bye, Cosette. Sergio, happy birthday. Sergio just turned 52. Pamela said, hello, Alexis. Not sure if you remember me. Me and my husband called you in March. I do remember you. Your husband, in March, we're very frustrated with our agent. You were very helpful, even though we didn't sign with you. Pamela, is your husband decided to go with another agent? Is, if I have that correctly, right? Because I think if I'm remember, and I have a pretty good memory. If I can remember correctly, we had a conversation. I was driving. I think this is it. We had a conversation. We had a really good conversation, and then you sent me an email saying that you decided to go with another agent. And I'm a very curious person, right? Because I want to know, okay, out of curiosity, why did you decide to go with the other agent, right? If the energy just was there and things like that, I totally get it, right? I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And then you told me that it was your husband who vibed more with the other agent. I think this is the same person. Dan said, I agree with JP. Phil said, oh, she's a baby pit bull. James said, you have to allow us an out if we don't. James said, you have to allow us an out if we don't vibe. Tell me that again, James. Erlene said Maryland. Okay, do you work from home, Erlene? Lauren said, thanks for the retirement info. We're in Maryland and in the same situation, but we have lots of money for down payment. Yeah. So if you have a lot of money for a down payment, you may want to think about doing it as a second home. So second home is minimum 10% down, sometimes a little bit more, but the interest rate are a little bit higher. Okay. Pamela said, no, we were already. So maybe I'm mixing the two. No, we were already signed to the other agent. Wish we would have worked with you. You know what? I'm not even going to lie to you, Pamela. I'm not even going to lie to you. I've had people tell me, no lie. And it's just been in this past couple of weeks where it was like, damn, I should have chose you. No lie. I had this one person, right? He told me he was coming to Orlando. We reached out, and he went ghost. And then when finally he was like, oh well, I wanted to go see homes and you weren't available. I can never forget this. I was on a work trip, right? And I was like, listen, I said I already told you that I wasn't me physically available. I had my agent. I was gonna have Dylan send him show him homes, but he went ghost. So he was like, well, we decided to go with another real estate agent. But if you could get me the better deal, then I'll go with you. Absolutely not. And I say that absolutely not. I'm not your girl. Good luck. That's it. And I close the conversation, and that's it, right? No lie, guys. And I cannot make this up. If Katrina was on here, she could tell you. He texted me the other day and he was like, man, I made a big mistake. I should have went with you. It's not the first time that they tell me this, right? Like, and it's okay. It's okay. I mean, you know, It is. I can't do anything about that. That's why I've had way too many people like, damn, I should have chose you. I don't know. I don't know. James said, get along with your other realtor. Okay, hold on. James said, you have to allow us an out if we don't get along with the other realtor. Oh, okay. So you're saying if you worked with an agent on my team, you have to have an out if you don't get along, right? Oh yeah, absolutely. Like at the end of the day, what's very important is that I want to make sure that my clients are happy, right? And if there's something that's going on, if there's no vibe or whatever, I'm jumping in, like what we got to do, right? Type of thing. Now, I always say this, but for example, guys, I'm going like over time. Give me a few more minutes. So I had somebody reach out to me. No, like I can't make this up, guys. So I had somebody reach out to me this week. And I've been in contact with this, like we first spoke in 2023. We're 2 years past, right? So she was like, my brother worked with a different team. I'm not going to tell you the team. And he recommended me them, right? Okay. That's completely fine. So she was like, but man, the agent I was with, she didn't even know what type of floors this was or willing to get me more information and all this other stuff, right? I was like, well, did you sign the buyer broker agreement? She was like, no, I didn't sign no buyer broker agreement. They gave it to me afterwards. I said, absolutely not. I said, no one is supposed to show you any buyer a house without a buyer broker agreement, right? So anyways, that's none of my business. So she was like, I should have just worked with you, right? So then I said, hey, listen, if you didn't sign a buyer broker agreement and you want to work with me, then that's completely fine, right? Well, I'll send you, you have to sign my buyer broker agreement within 24 hours from this conversation. So her husband wasn't a part of this conversation. Her husband was hesitant. He didn't like signing contracts. A lot of people are like hesitant on signing contracts. Guys, I'm not taking your firstborn away, right? Like I'm not taking your money. I'm not doing anything, right? If we end up being like, this is not a great fit, we cancel and we go our separate ways and all that other stuff. But if you talk to me about canceling already, I'm not your girl. Right. And I had to say that. They were like, okay, well, they were a little like, again, it's the confused people who don't know what decision to make. And then it's just like, it ends up being the realtor. So she sends me an email and she's like, oh, my husband wants to wait for this, and I think we should move now and all this other stuff. So we would be able to cancel. And I'm like, listen, you guys could be able to cancel, but at the end of the day too, like if we're already starting off this relationship with you talking about canceling, there's just no, I can't do this. I said, because I want my time and my resources and my energy and my love to be respected, right? Like, if you're already, like, you know how when you go into a relationship and you're already talking about breaking up, like, what are you talking about type of thing, right? Like, guys, there's always an out. I'm not the type of realtor who's going to charge you anything to cancel the contract. I'm not. Like, if we don't align, if I'm not living up to your expectations, and if I don't know your expectations, we already talked about that earlier, we can cancel, guys. We can cancel. But if you're already talking about canceling and you haven't even signed yet, no, because what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to waste my time and you're not committed to me. I'm telling you guys, I can't make this up. It's been a trying week for me, guys. It's been a trying week. Zillow, or same as talking divorce before getting married. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is what you're starting our relationship with on the negative? No, thank you. Absolutely not. Absolutely. And I said it in the beginning. I'm in a point in my career where I just know my worth. I know my value, and no. So, Papi, Aiden, the order is outside. Pamela says Zillow gave us that agent. Yeah, so what happens is that when you look on like a listing or something, it'll make it seem like that agent is the listing agent for, like, if you're not really reading on Zillow, it'll make it seem that agent is the agent for that house, but it's just a Zillow agent, right? People pay for those leads, and then you end up working with an agent like that you don't know, not even the listing agent for that house. Dan said, I signed that buyer broker agreement as soon as possible. So down to work with you. That's what I'm talking about. That's the energy I want. If you don't have that energy, I'm not your girl. I'm really not, guys. I'm really not. Guys, I'm like, I go hard for all my clients. I go hard. I don't know if my client is on here, John, and he's the one that I was talking about with the whole Highland Homes thing. Like, I go hard. I go hard for all of my clients. And if you can't see that dedication and that, just listen in my videos and how, after we have a conversation, I'm not here to convince anybody. Phil said, it's like getting a girlfriend in March and breaking up with her in November so you don't have to do Christmas and Valentine's Day. Yeah. Like, I'm so serious. I'm just, and there was, guys, you guys know that I just keep it real with you. And I feel like there's a blessing in every lesson, right? So, I had a buyer consult with a person a few months ago, right? She was buying a house for her son. Okay. So her son was going to surprise his wife. There was a lot of hands in the pot, right? So when it ended up being that I'm speaking to the son, right? He didn't want a specific area, right? But he really didn't know what he wanted. Again, his wife wasn't involved in the process, okay? So when he had the opportunity to see some houses, I wasn't available, so Dylan showed him some houses. Okay. Fast forward, he speaks to Katrina, and he was like, I don't want this area, right? But she didn't know that. She doesn't know. So she sent him a few houses and it was in that area, right? So then he was like, well, you know what? I'll consider the area as long as it's close to this, not close to this, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, we met, we showed a couple of houses. Then I get a phone call the next day. And it was his mom. Well, they called my office, Katrina, I called her back, blah, blah, blah. My son wants to cancel the buyer broker agreement. Is that so? Do you know why? No, I don't know why. He said he just doesn't vibe with you. Okay. So I texted the son and I called him. I was like, hey, I texted him. I was like, can we have a conversation? I would love to have a deeper understanding because I'm blindsided at this point. So he was like, you kept sending me houses in this area, but I didn't want to be in this area. But I'm like, yeah. But I'm like, you're the one who said that you would consider this area if it's A, B, and C. So I did that, right? And he was like, well, I feel like I'm the one who's sending you houses. And I was like, you know what? So and I was like, listen, it sounds like that I'm not meeting your expectations. I don't know what those expectations are. Can we have a conversation? Can we see if we can make this work? No, I made the decision. I'm just gonna wait and I'm just gonna look at stuff myself. Okay, but there's a blessing in every lesson. My fault was that there was too many hands in the pot. Okay, I didn't have a true understanding of what he was looking for, but it's hard to have a true understanding of what he's looking for if you don't know what the heck he's looking for because his wife is not involved, right? You know what I'm saying? So again, there's a blessing in every lesson. It caught me off guard and I got frustrated, but I'm very aware of my feelings. And I was just like, you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. And we keep moving forward, right? But that's what happens. Like if you don't have the clarity and if there's too many hands in the pot and you really don't know it's like we're going in blindfolded, right? So then his wife was coming in the mix, but it was already too late for me, right? I didn't meet those expectations, the expectations that I didn't know they were there, like what expectations those were, right? And so, guys, I was really I was hurt. I was frustrated because, again, this is not some walk in the park for me. Like I take what I do very, very seriously. I put a lot of love, resources, and time into every of my clients. So I think I was more frustrated where hold on, you already feel some type of way about me if you can't communicate those expectations for me and be clear and let me try to make it better, right? So it was kind of like, you know how like when you have a bad taste in your mouth already, I feel like he already had a bad taste in his mouth about me already, and it was just like kind of like a done, I don't want nothing to do with you type of thing. And so I was just like, you know what, I sent an email confirming that this buyer broker is canceled and whatever, right? So it's just, I'm telling you guys, it's been a very rough couple of weeks in that sense, right? Because it's just like stuff just is not making sense for me. But in that one, it really was like there was a blessing and a lesson. Like I need to get down. I need to talk to the decision makers, right? Yes, mom had the money, but is the son who is gonna buy the house? But then it was I was what's that saying? I was made I was what's that saying, guys, where I was set up for failure, right? Because the wife wasn't involved. It was going to be a surprise for the wife. It was a whole cluster, you know what. So it's all good. It's all good. Oh no, it wasn't. Listen, there was this one house, and God forgive me, but there was this one house, right, that he really, really liked. And I got him all the information, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Dylan went to go take him to see the house. Beautiful house, but it was on a corner. So then he was like, he was like, man, I don't know about a house on a corner, because I've seen where, it could happen where a car could ram into the house and stuff like that, right? And that's where my daughter would be and all that other stuff. I was like, but if we live life thinking about what could happen, right? Like that we're not living life, right? We're gonna make the decisions on the what ifs. I mean, you're more likely to get into a car accident or get hit by lightning or things like that. You can't live your life being like, oh well, I've seen this happen, right? You're living you're not living a great life, and it's okay. It's okay. All right. Yeah, his wife wasn't involved. I was set up for failure, and I should have done better. But there's a blessing in every lesson. Like I said, guys, I'm not 100% perfect. I make mistakes. I'm like, oh, that's one thing about me that I'm gonna be accountable. That's one thing. All right. Gilbert said, I haven't met you in person. I signed the buyer broker agreement. It's like I said before, the connection and trust. I'm telling you, I can't make this up. Thank you, Gilbert. I really appreciate that. Dan said, their loss. Pamela said, yes, it did make it seem like we had to sign with her. We actually found the house our own, but she had to get the credit, although she has refused to make any efforts to negotiate anything. I'm so sorry. Arlene said, you are absolutely correct. Marlene said 100%. Harold said, be grateful. If that's the case, then you just dodged the bullet. It could be very complicated when people just don't know what they want. Harold, I cannot agree with you anymore. It's been the people who decide to stop working with me. It's the confused people, the people that don't know what they want, don't know where they want to be, can't make a decision. It's those types of people who end up not working with me because they have to place blame on, the other side. Right. And so, I've learned, again, I take everything to heart because, I think that's here. Hold on, guys. My dogs are going crazy. I take everything to heart because I put a lot of, I love doing this, right? I love you guys. But then I have to remind myself that God does the right things for us, right? God, yeah, baby. God, there's a reason why I'm not working with them. And there's just more time and energy for other people who truly value me, right? Oh no, I don't need an alarm in this house. All right, guys. Janice said he wasn't meant to be your client. You never know, could have been a disaster. Vic called it, actually. So I'm gonna tell you, Vic is a very he reads energy, right? Like he just gets that sense, and he called it. And it just happened the way it happened. But yeah, absolutely. So James said most are tire kickers. Apparently you don't need an alarm. Yeah, I don't. All right, guys, let me let you go. This is almost an hour and a half. We got 50 people on here. I absolutely love you guys. I know this I feel like it's just been a heavy few couple of weeks with people who just are not truly valuing me. And I guess those are the people who are just new here. They haven't been following me, right? But honestly, I got nothing to convince anyone, you know. If you want to work with me, you know what you're getting. I absolutely love you guys. I really do. We'll be on next Sunday. Remember, tomorrow's video is going to be of Marion Oaks, LGI Builders, their Ponte Vedra 3-car garage home. And then we're going to start upping the videos to 2 per week. But I absolutely love you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way. Comment, like. It goes a long way. Yeah, we've been on for an hour and 25 minutes already. Mark said, is the show over already? This is like one of the longest ones. I think I haven't done an hour and a half in a really long time. But as you can see, guys, I'm super passionate. And not only this is that, like, yes, I do it because I love it. But at the end of the day, too, I got a family to feed. Like, I got 6 kids. If you guys know me, you know me. I got 6 kids. Like, they depend on me. This is the only income that comes into this house is mine. And so I got to make sure that my kids are fed. I got to make sure that they're good to go, right? And at the end of the day, I will never put anything in front of that. So I love you guys. Have a beautiful week. Next Sunday, don't forget, 5:30 p.m. We'll talk about coming on my live. If you can send me an email, send me a message, I would really appreciate that. Love you guys so much. And 6 dogs. Oh, come say hi, Poppy.
Oh, you did.
No, you didn't.
I said bye.
Oh my gosh, that's Eli, guys. All right, guys, love you so much.